Welcome to our channel, where we dive into the most spine-chilling tales from our viewers. We're talking about those real-life nightmare stories that stick with you long after the lights go out. Tonight, we bring you 4 terrifying true ghost encounters that will leave you questioning the shadows around you. So, dim the lights, grab your flashlight, in case your phone dies, classic ghost move, and get ready to get spooked. Our first story comes from a viewer named Jessica, who decided to spend a weekend in a remote cabin in the woods. Now, you might be thinking, Jessica, classic horror movie mistake. And you know what? You're not wrong. But hey, hindsight is 20/20, right? So Jessica arrives at the cabin, and it's everything she hoped for. Rustic, charming, and completely isolated. Picture it. The sun setting over the trees, the sound of crickets chirping, and not a single bar of cell service. Jessica gets settled in, starts a fire in the fireplace, and cracks open a good book. As the night deepens, she starts to hear strange noises, creaking floorboards, whispers in the wind. But she brushes it off, telling herself it's just the old cabin settling. But then, things start to get really weird. One night, she wakes up to the sound of someone, or something, rattling the doorknob. She lies there, frozen in fear, as the rattling continues. Finally, it stops. She works up the courage to get out of bed, grabs a knife from the kitchen, for safety, and slowly approaches the door. Taking a deep breath, she throws open the door, but there's no one there. Just the dark and empty hallway. Jessica tries to rationalize, but deep down, she knows something isn't right. The next morning, she packs her bags and gets the heck out of there. Now, Jessica's experience begs the question, was it just her imagination playing tricks on her, or was there something sinister lurking in that isolated cabin? Next up, we have a chilling account from Mark, a viewer who had a terrifying encounter with a ghostly figure in his bathroom mirror. Mark was home alone one night, getting ready for bed, when he noticed something strange in the reflection of his bathroom mirror. At first, he thought it was just his imagination, but as he glanced up again, he realized there was a shadowy figure standing behind him. Mark froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He slowly turned around to confront the figure, but there was nothing there. He was alone in the bathroom. Shaken, Mark tried to brush it off as a trick of the light, or maybe just his mind playing tricks on him. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. A few nights later, Mark was washing his face before bed when he saw the figure again in the mirror. This time, he could have sworn the figure moved, its head tilting slightly to the side as if it were watching him. Terrified, Mark ran out of the bathroom and refused to go back in alone for weeks. He even started covering the mirror at night, just in case the ghostly figure decided to make another appearance. To this day, Mark can't explain what he saw in the mirror that night. Was it a figment of his imagination? Or had he truly caught a glimpse of something from beyond the grave? Chapter 3. The Phantom Footsteps. In our third story, we hear from Sarah, a viewer who was plagued by the unsettling sound of phantom footsteps in her home. Sarah had just moved into an old Victorian house, you know the type. Creaky floorboards, antique furniture, and a spooky attic you're too afraid to go into. At first, Sarah loved the house's charm and character, but that quickly changed when she started hearing strange noises at night. It started with soft, almost imperceptible footsteps coming from the hallway outside her bedroom. Sarah would lie awake, listening intently as the footsteps slowly approached her door, only to stop right outside. Night after night, the phantom footsteps tormented Sarah, robbing her of sleep and filling her with a sense of dread. She checked every nook and cranny of the house, convinced there must be a logical explanation for the noises, but she found nothing. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Sarah set up audio recorders around the house, hoping to capture evidence of the phantom footsteps. When she listened back to the recordings, she was met with chilling results. There, clear as day, were the sounds of heavy footsteps pacing back and forth in the hallway outside her bedroom. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, and undeniably human-like. But how could that be? Sarah was home alone. Sarah eventually moved out of the house, unable to bear the thought of spending another night listening to those eerie footsteps. Chapter 4. The Haunted Doll. Finally, we have a tale that's enough to make you swear off antique dolls forever. Our viewer Emily had always been fascinated by old dolls, finding their porcelain faces and vintage clothing strangely captivating. So when she stumbled upon a beautiful antique doll at a local flea market, she couldn't resist taking it home. The doll was a sight to behold, with rosy cheeks, bright blue eyes that seemed to follow you around the room, and a flowing white dress. Emily proudly displayed the doll on a shelf in her living room, admiring its beauty and craftsmanship. But little did she know, her new prized possession came with a dark and sinister secret. It began with subtle occurrences. Objects near the doll would move mysteriously, and Emily could have sworn she saw the doll's head turn slightly out of the corner of her eye. As the days turned into nights, the occurrences grew increasingly disturbing. Emily started experiencing vivid nightmares, always featuring the doll, its eyes glowing red in the darkness. One night, Emily woke up to a blood-curdling scream. She rushed to her living room, her heart pounding, only to find the doll lying on the floor, its once beautiful face twisted into a grotesque snarl. That was the final straw for Emily. She knew she had to get rid of the doll, and fast. She donated the doll to a local thrift store, hoping that whoever took it next would be strong enough to handle its evil presence. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. We've explored haunted cabins, ghostly reflections, phantom footsteps, and even a sinister doll. Did these stories leave you looking over your shoulder? Because I'll be honest, I'm a little creeped out myself. If you have your own ghostly encounter to share, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales. Sleep tight, and remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we can't explain.